Welcome to Ask Dr. Melinda, Aging Gracefully and Strong, bringing you cutting edge trends in holistic and integrative medicine on IQ Podcasts at Attorney King Studios. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Mike Norton, who owns the very delicious Robex juice in Mira Mesa. He's also my patient, and we're going to talk today about the important topic of PTSD and traumatic brain injury. I'm so happy, Mike, that you're able to join me today.
Thank you. I appreciate being on the podcast.
So, I wanted to talk about this topic because a lot of people don't really understand that they could be a victim of PTSD and traumatic brain injury because they're not realizing that there's certain things that might have happened to them in their childhood, playing football, playing soccer, riding a skateboard, riding a surfboard, that can also cause injury to the brain. I just saw a patient last week who came to me because his testosterone level was really low. I mean, his level was 95 and he was only in his early 40s. And he said, why is my testosterone level so low? Come to find out is he had a skateboard injury when he was 16 years old and then a car accident when he was 20. And he never passed out. He never lost consciousness. But what I was trying to tell him is that the physical trauma, the injury to his brain, because your brain is soft and your skull is hard, it can cause the neuroinflammation and the neural connections to be disrupted, which can cause the hormone levels to fall, which led to depression and anxiety for him. You have a similar story to that. Do you want to share your story?
Yeah, sure. I would love to. Basically, about 5 years
Mm,
ago, I had a traumatic brain injury because I got punched
mm,
in the head from the side. I was cold clocked in Pacific Beach. And since then, I had a lot of emotional problems, mainly just depression. I would notice that
mm,
instead of just being sad about something, I would cry or something like that. It was very weird. Definitely a black and white difference between before the
mhm,
injury and after. Because I studied biology, you know that the pituitary gland is very sensitive and it can be damaged, and that'll start all of the hormone complications. So um, I didn't know about your practice or where you were
mhm,
up until a little over 2 years ago, and then I found you and I had tried pharmaceuticals. I tried other approaches. I was always working out, and I always had a decent diet. But it wasn't until I fixed my hormones and put them at my age level that all of the dark clouds over my head went away. It was a phenomenal difference. You can't really fix
mhm.
it quite with pharmaceuticals if the underlying problem is hormones. It's more of a band aid approach.
Right. I mean, I'm glad that you're speaking about it because a lot of people don't understand that it's better to come from a place of the cause. Like you said, when you try to treat the symptoms of the depression and anxiety with an antidepressant, it's just masking the symptoms. When you have a neural inflammation issue or a decrease in hormones, that if that problem is not fixed, you're still going to have the depression. Unfortunately, you just might just feel numb with the antidepressants. And there are some people who would rather feel something, even if it's sad, than feel nothing, because that's one of the reasons why the antidepressants can actually lead to suicide, because people don't like not feeling anything and feeling numb. And I don't know if you were ever tried on the antidepressants before you came to see me, and how you reacted to them.
I did. I tried a couple, and they were not really beneficial. Like
Mm,
you said, you feel numb, you feel a lot of apathy, and you don't have the ups that hormones normally give you for your age. You just kind of are flatlined.
mhm,
And I think that the hormones do maybe help a
mhm,
little bit with the sadness, but it doesn't help with the ups that normally you would feel if your hormone levels were at where they should be at. So that's what I noticed is like, okay, I don't feel downs as much, but I'm not feeling the ups that I should for my age.
mhm.
I'm not feeling libido. I'm not feeling my energy level where it was. My strength is completely plateaued, even though
Mhm.
I'm going to the gym 6 days a week and have a good diet. So what's missing here?
Right. And I will tell you that the symptom that's in 100% of my patients that have PTSD or traumatic brain injury is going to be fatigue. 100% of them feel tired. They don't have as much energy as they used to. The other common symptoms are going to be decrease in libido, insomnia, difficulty concentrating, um, brain fog, depression, anxiety, anger, and a lot of them will self medicate with alcohol and drugs because they just want to feel better. That's why it's really important to make sure that people know that they should get their hormones checked because we don't know what your levels are unless we check, right? We do
Exactly.
laboratory diagnosis. And the hormones that are important to check are going to be not only progesterone, testosterone, and estradiol, but it's going to be cortisol and thyroid, vitamin D levels. Thyroid is in every cell of the body. So when people have hormone dysregulation, their thyroid isn't optimal. In my office, we don't look at just normal ranges. We look at what we call optimal ranges because sometimes people could be in the normal range and they still feel bad, right?
Right.
Because it's not, you don't know what your normal is compared to somebody else's normal. And when they do normal ranges, for example, I'll take thyroid for an example, the level can be zero point 0.4 to 4.5. So that's a tenfold range.
Right.
And the Endocrinology Society of America said that it's better if you're euthyroid. That means it's closer to 1. But a lot of people, they will fall in that range. They may be closer to 4. And then what happens is they feel sluggish. They have brain fog. They're not going to be as energetic, right?
Right.
So the hormonal disarray actually keeps people from feeling the best that they could feel. So for me, it's really important to have a laboratory diagnosis. That's why I want people to have their labs done when they come into my office. And then we look at their symptoms and we try to figure out what can we do to improve their quality of life. And sometimes people need the antidepressants, but I will tell you 80% of my patients do not.
Right. Well, like I said, it's a band-aid approach,
Right.
and this isn't just an older gentleman problem. You could definitely have this issue in your late 20s, especially if you served in the military. The
Right.
military does not know exactly what's causing their suicide rates to be as high as they are, but a lot of it has to do with traumatic brain injury, and it's the exact same thing that happened to our poor athlete Junior Seau, who shot
Right.
himself in the chest with a shotgun.
I know.
Study my
Horrible.
brain, please. He was desperate, and so are a lot of our military
Mhm.
personnel. And it's coming out in
Mhm.
about the UFC as well. It's very, very apparent that you're not just dealing with some sort of emotional problem that is stemming from something else. It's like, no, there's an underlying root. And like I said, the pituitary gland is very sensitive. And with the pituitary gland, when you damage it, the FSH and LH, follicular stimulating hormone, and luteinizing hormone, both do not get secreted at the same amounts. And so you will have, testicular atrophy, you'll have all of the hormonal problems following that. And what's important for me is that I maintain fertility, which is something that your clinic was able to do for me through HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin. So you can do this at a young age. You don't need to be already done with kids. You're just going to do your hormone therapy. No, you could actually do testosterone therapy with a fertility treatment to maintain it through HCG.
And you're exactly right. I'm glad you touched upon that because the younger you are, I'm not really excited about giving you testosterone because there's other modalities like the Clomid and HCG, and you might not necessarily need the testosterone, although some of my patients will still need it. But we can give you supplements that increase your testosterone naturally, like the HCG will increase your testosterone naturally, and will because HCG is what we call luteinizing hormone analog, so it directly stimulates the testicles to produce testosterone.
Right. You're getting the precursor.
Right. You're getting the precursor. But I'm really glad that you touched upon the veterans, especially because my father is retired Navy, and I love taking care of the military. And in honor of Veterans Month, I'm giving all of my military 50% off their initial hormone consult for the month of November. I really want to make sure that they have access to this very, very important care. It's very alarming to know that there's 50% greater suicide rate in the military compared to the civilian population.
Yeah.
And I know because of COVID that might even be at higher rates right now. And it's very alarming, and it's something that we cannot ignore. So I just really want to make sure that people get the help that they need. You also touch upon athletes. I do treat a lot of athletes. I want you to know that a single blow to the head will increase your risk for traumatic brain injury. So if you're an MMA fighter, if you're a boxer, if you're a football player, if you're a soccer player, girls soccer has one of the highest rates of head injury in this country, and people
Yeah.
don't realize that.
Yeah.
Right? My daughter is in the Elite College National League, and she played very competitive soccer since she was 5, and that was my greatest fear was for her to have like a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah,
So
one impact, and then your brain is making
right.
compact or
Mhm.
impact with the skull, and so you're bruising your cortex as well as whatever happens to the pituitary.
Right, the
Um,
neuroinflammation, the
yeah,
shearing force alone, because remember, your brain is soft and your skull is hard, and the brain is not fixed to the skull. That's why you never shake a baby, right?
right,
Because if you shake the baby, you can kill the baby because it tears the neural connections in the brain.
right,
So when you have an injury and it's repetitive injuries and you don't need to pass out, you don't need to be unconscious, those will cause that neuroinflammation will actually lead to immune cells in the brain that will cause a buildup of amyloid beta plaques, which is one of the things that you see with patients that have Alzheimer's.
right.
And that's why patients, athletes that do MMA, boxing, they have a higher rate of Alzheimer's at an early age.
Right, right. And
And so,
your brain can regenerate, but it's not meant to do so over a certain amount of damage or
right.
repeatedly regenerate. We talked about Dr. Amen, who is a doctor that was on a TED Talk discussing the irony of how in this industry, psychiatric industry, and
Mhm.
all of this, it's the one industry that doesn't study the brain with brain scans. It's the
Right.
one organ
So,
specialist that doesn't study the organ they're actually diagnosing.
exactly.
And it's a very fascinating TED talk, and I think we both agreed with him on that. Where there's just an out of touch element to this whole thing, and I know that yeah, with the military personnel, it's quite sad. They'll come back from a tour, and I know a couple that have told me that the way the military handles it is they give them some sort of diagnosis or tell them they're depressed, and then they just throw a ton of pharmaceuticals at them. They don't even entertain the idea of traumatic brain injury, even though an IED exploded next to their head.
Right. So that's a good point. I want to make sure that people understand that people that have artillery fire that's close to their head, that reverberation can cause that same kind of trauma to their brain. So they don't actually have to be hit in combat. Police officers that shoot their guns repeatedly or at the firing range, right? All of those kind of reverberations and that sound can also cause the neuroinflammation in the brain that can lead to PTSD.
Yeah.
Right? And it causes that traumatic brain injury. It doesn't have to be an assault, and you don't have to be actually wounded. You can still have the symptoms just because you were in that environment that causes
Absolutely,
those
yeah.
forces. One of Dr. Amen's work that I really like is what you were talking about, how he could check for PTSD in the brain with certain scans. And one of the testing that he's able to do is look for emotional versus traumatic PTSD, the physical trauma
Right.
versus emotional. And it's important because the treatments and the supplements may be different if you have an emotional versus a physical trauma. We used to think that it was both treated the same, but they're not. They're treated differently.
Right. Like if
the-
you have like a bad upbringing with a
right,
parent that was
exactly.
emotionally abusive.
Right, or alcoholic parent, for
Right.
example.
Yeah. And then the next thing you know, you get
Mhm.
a traumatic brain injury.
Right.
And then all of a sudden that past
Mhm.
comes back and with a
Right.
big dark cloud. And
Right.
you're basically, well, that's my problem is my bad upbringings. Well, it wasn't a problem for a good decade of your life until you got hit in the head very hard.
Right. It
Um,
might have been a triggering moment.
Right. I mean, did you remember I talked to you about Dr. Gordon, and
Right.
he had the Navy SEAL on the Joe Rogan
Mhm.
podcast? Yeah,
Mhm.
and they basically had his doctor on there discuss what treatment he gave him. It was an HRT regimen, and it
Right.
was basically following a series of different attempts at solving this Navy SEAL's depression. And the man suffered from such bad depression, he got a divorce. The poor guy basically went through many episodes of being suicidal, and it didn't go away no matter what pharmaceutical was thrown at him until this doctor that was on the podcast gave him a hormone replacement therapy
Right.
that was suitable for his age. It wasn't like it was astronomical levels, just very, what is your age? We're putting it at this. And now, oh, you don't need these pharmaceuticals anymore. You don't want to kill yourself. You're fine.
Right.
And,
That's my typical patient. No, I love
yeah,
it. Dr. Gordon was one of my teachers, actually, and also Dr. Eamon. So I really love the work that they do, and especially what Dr. Gordon has done for the military and the vets in this country. And I actually studied under him, and I'm considered one of the specialists for treating traumatic brain injury in San Diego. And I love the concept that they use about looking at all aspects of the brain injury, emotional, physical, and then looking at the lab diagnosis, looking at their clinical symptoms. So when I tell somebody, when you have a brain injury, like a traumatic brain injury, I want you to picture your brain on fire, right?
yeah,
So it's like on fire. That inflammation is the root of all chronic disease. Inflammation is what's going to increase your risk for diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's. So if you imagine your brain on fire, okay, there's things that can be fuel to that fire. Okay.
yes,
Things that are fuel to that fire are going to be repeated trauma, right? Repeated injury, right?
yes,
Like continuing to box when you already have an injury, or continuing to go to war when you already have that injury. Also, one of the most common um, toxins that we abuse ourselves with is sugar.
absolutely.
Sugar,
Yeah. Sugar
is,
leads to inflammation.
is the
It
fuel
does.
of fire, right?
Yeah, one of the things
it's just incredible to me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's and people don't realize that that's the one thing that they call Alzheimer's diabetes type 3, because of what happens with the sugar in the brain is the same thing that's happening in diabetes in your heart, right?
Right.
And so when you think about your brain on fire, you don't want to increase that fire, right?
Right.
So things that are going to decrease the fire, or you think of like fire extinguishers, right? I tell people are going to be things like whole food diet,
Right.
not eating processed food, right? Because we're trying to decrease the inflammation. Exercise, okay?
Yeah.
It's a huge anti-inflammatory for the brain. There's studies to show that exercise actually reduces your risk of dementia. I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
Yes.
just exercise by itself. And one thing that gets really underestimated and underrated for people is sleep.
Right.
Sleep will increase the lymphatic system and drainage in the brain to take away those toxins,
Right. The
and
cytokines
right,
take it all out. Yeah. I
and
remember hearing
take
that.
away the amyloid plaques.
Right.
So people don't understand the importance of lifestyle intervention, and that's what I do in my office. And then there's also supplements that you can use that's going to decrease inflammation and kind of be fire extinguishers to the brain.
Yeah.
And in my office, I talk to my patients about it, like vitamin D, melatonin, ashwagandha, GABA, 5-HTP. So it's not just about the hormones, okay? You also have to have that lifestyle intervention. You have to have the supplements. It's all a lifestyle. Like for me, I just recently did a fitness competition in Vegas last week, and my very good friend Brett Davis was my trainer, and then I also had another woman trainer that I love, who's an IFB pro. Her name is Julian, and they helped me get into the best shape of my life. But the one thing that changed my body the most was I decreased my sugar, no sugar for 2 months.
Wow.
And that totally changed my body because I was, and we're going to talk about another podcast because that's not the focus of this one, but I was what they call skinny fat. Filipinos are skinny fat.
Right.
We're
You're
skinny
athletic.
on the outside,
You're athletic,
but
but you
fat
have
on
the
the
layer.
inside because
Yeah.
we have the visceral fat that you
Yeah.
can't really see, but that visceral fat causes you to have increase of insulin resistance and diabetes.
Right.
And that was what was concerning for me. And so for me to be able to transform my body, I mean, it was really hard work. I have to tell you, I trained really hard, but the nutrition helped me the most. But I ended up winning all 6 titles.
Congratulations.
I won Miss USA for ICN, Miss Universe,
Wow.
Masters overall for bikini and for swimsuit.
And with the hormone treatments,
Right,
you
with the
weren't able
hormone
to starve.
treatment,
You didn't have to
yes.
starve yourself.
No, I
right?
didn't have to starve
You could
myself.
enjoy food.
And I looked healthy, right? I was
Yeah.
like a healthy skinny,
Yeah.
right? Because sometimes people look unhealthy skinny and it's not attractive.
Right. Right.
It's
Too many
not-
veins and
Yeah.
it just what's going on
No,
there?
it was
Yeah.
like a healthy skinny, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to know is that, in my office, I always come from a place of health. But if you're able to change that inflammation, so if you're able to squash that fire in your brain, then you're not going to be as depressed and anxious. So when you have that fire in your brain, that inflammation, that is what increases anxiety and depression.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I'll touch on the aesthetics of
Mhm.
what I was going through. So before I started the treatment, I was going to the gym 6 days a week.
Right.
I was lifting, and then I was also running 2 to 3 miles after each lifting session, and I couldn't get my body fat below 10%. And
Right.
I worked at a vitamin exchange shop. I worked at a GNC basically, like,
Yeah.
and I had
So you had
access.
access
I
to
tried
everything.
I tried every fat burner supplement we sold, and I was still looking in the mirror like I have a decent set of abs, but I don't know why I can't get rid of this layer of fat. Come to find out, I test at levels 380 and 4 something when it's a range of 350 to 1300.
You're talking about testosterone
My
level.
testosterone levels,
Your
yeah,
testosterone level was suboptimal
Abysmal.
for your age.
abysmal. 3 different tests, all different times of the year.
Right.
There's all the variables were controlled. So I was like, okay, this must be part of the problem. So aside from all of the psychiatric
Mhm.
benefits to it, I finally was able to not starve myself and then
Mhm.
maybe run 1 or 2 miles after my workout. And then I was like, okay, now I'm at 8%. I feel a lot better. Okay, that's what it was. I thought I was doing something wrong the whole time, but I had under 500 testosterone levels,
Right.
which is less than average, far less than average.
Well, especially for your age.
At 30 years old, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was going on? I don't know, but
So I tell people the testosterone in your body is like fuel to a car. Like if you have a car that requires gasoline and you could buy a brand new car, right?
Mhm.
If your car runs out of gas, is it bad to put gasoline in that car? No.
No.
Your car
Yeah.
needs it for it to run.
Yeah.
So people are afraid, like, am I going to be dependent on, the testosterone, or why do I need that? It's because it's a fuel for your body, just like gasoline is for a car.
Right.
So it's not bad that you need to put gas in your car if you want it to run. If you want it to sit in the garage and you don't want it to run, then that's fine. You don't need it. So I tell people, I don't super dope people. We look at physiologic doses.
Yeah.
We don't need to be higher like in bodybuilding ranges where people take too much, because too much of anything is not good as well, right?
Right.
So
What is it? Aristotle's that everything
Yeah.
in moderation.
yeah, everything in moderation,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's important to know that if you're going to see someone that's going to help you, like a doctor like myself, who my specialties is in hormones, make sure that they're checking levels, and they recheck those levels after you get treated, because we check the levels for 2 reasons. One is for efficacy, and also just one is for safety, because we always want to come from a place of health, but we're trying to help people with quality of life issues. sleep, energy, mood, sex, stamina, weight, hair and skin. And I
Right.
tell people, if you are healthier, you will always feel better and you will always look better.
Right.
So for
Feeling
me,
better is a big
oh,
thing.
it's huge.
A lot of older men have that grumpy old man
Oh, that
syndrome
is
from a low
testosterone, low
yeah.
testosterone. It's grumpy old man
I was
syndrome.
extremely irritable at those levels. Like I told you, 400. I was
Right.
just traffic was always a nightmare for me.
I've treated anxiety in men
Yeah.
just by treating their testosterone levels. And I will tell you, you have to be like Goldilocks with testosterone, though. It has to be just right.
Right.
So if you have too low of testosterone or you have too high of testosterone, you're going to be irritable.
Right.
So it has to be just right. So
Right.
it's important to have levels checked. It's important to see somebody like me that's their specialty, and we have a testosterone club, which means that after your initial visit, the testosterone visits can be free, and
Yeah.
you just have to make sure you pay for your testosterone. And it's really nice because I try to keep this treatment affordable because I do see a lot of military and people that need to be strong and safe, police officers, border patrol, people that need to be in a good place, healthy, because they're taking care of us. These are people that are taking care of us in the community, so I want to take care of them. So for me, it's important that people have quality of life because you just don't want to have enough energy to go to work and then not have um, enough energy for your kids or your wife or your family, right?
Right.
Or your dog, even. Just it's about having quality of life. And so for me, what I want to make sure that people know is that they have a choice, that they could be better. Like for you, it was really nice that you were able to get the help that you need, right? And
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, with basically the treatment, I don't have the anxiety that I had
Mhm.
before from the irritability. And with less anxiety, less irritability, I could sleep better. So it kind of just fixed everything by, like I said before, fixing the bottom
Mhm.
line, the precursor to everything. And that is my hormones being way lower than they should have been. As you know, your body regulates everything, tries to keep everything in a
Mhm.
homeostasis, right?
Right.
And it does that with reading hormone levels through receptors such as estrogen, right?
Right.
One of the things I learned, and I studied this, is environmental estrogens can actually impact you by contributing to lower testosterone. So your body, yeah, all of the Febreze scents and all of the different scented this, that, and
Yes, the
you're
personal care products that
right.
have phthalates and parabens.
There's a ton, yes,
Oh,
all the
so much.
plastics,
All the plastics that are
tons,
not BPA free.
right?
There's a
Environmental
lot of environment.
estrogens.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
your body absorbs
huge.
them, and then for women,
Mhm.
there's an impact, but for men, the bigger impact is that it downregulates your testosterone
Mhm.
production because it wants the estrogen and everything to be in balance, and so it starts to read things
Mhm.
wrong, and then you lose that homeostasis, and it could be a slippery slope, regardless if you've even had PTSD. I mean,
That's actually one of the reasons that I see a lot of younger men with lower testosterone levels because of the impact of environmental estrogens.
yeah,
It could even be from the weed killer that people put on grass, a patch of grass that you walk past and you don't even smell it. You don't even know that you're being exposed to it
yeah,
because our skin absorbs all of the environmental toxins that
right,
we take in, pollution and things that are in the air, pesticides and weed
yeah,
killers. So you have to be careful that there might be other causes. It's not just about trauma to the brain. There's also environmental causes. And so, actually, what you put in your body makes a huge difference, whether or
absolutely,
not you eat the processed food or not, or that you buy organic, or that you're preparing your own food. Because I will tell you, I went to medical school 30 years ago, a long time ago. So
yeah,
I've taken care of thousands of patients over the decades. And I will tell you, when I was in medical school 30 years ago, diabetes was very uncommon in the teenage population and in the younger population. We actually called it adult onset diabetes type 2, and it was more common after 40.
okay,
But you could see the increase of diabetes in adolescence with the introduction of high fructose corn syrup
oh yeah,
and the introduction of processed food and fast food
Yeah.
And you could see that the pediatric obesity, rose to heights that I would have never imagined
Right. During the
because of the food, the
yes.
soda consumption. You
And
could see all of that related to the sugar intake.
in the 90s, remember the
Mhm.
fat-free phase that caused everyone to take the fat out and load
Yeah.
it with sugar?
Well,
They
yeah,
did it with
because
everything.
fat-free
Yeah.
just meant that you didn't have fat, which is actually a necessary component in your brain, right?
Right.
And they replaced it with sugar.
Yeah.
So they're seeing that it's the best diet is going to be a whole food diet, that you get your sugars from
Like
fruits
fructose.
and vegetables and berries and just I tell people it's like the hunter and gatherer diet, right?
Right.
If you can gather it and you can hunt it, if you can catch it, or you can grow it, you can eat it. That's what I want people to do it, to think about. Despite how much I love golden Oreos, right? I can't grow that or
Yeah.
I can't catch it. So that's going to be a minimum for me, right? I'm not.
Right.
I'm a girl of. I'm a middle of the road kind of girl, so I like moderation. But I want people to know that doing those simple things, if they remember about what I talked to them about, the fire extinguisher, decreasing the brain on fire, you're going to have decreased risk of dementia, Alzheimer's, and just depression and anxiety. And the one thing that I want to end on that we don't really talk about is the impact of our interpersonal relationships when we don't feel well
Right.
and when we're not in a good place. That's why it's really important for me to take care of mothers, to take care of fathers, especially mothers, because they set the tone for the family. Like my husband says, when mama's not happy, nobody's happy, right? So we got to make sure that the people who take care of us are taking care of themselves.
Right.
And that's what I like to do. And we can't underestimate the impact of relationships when someone is not well emotionally. And so we need to think about that self care. And there's simple things that we could do, like I'm just going to remind you, right? The meditation, right? If you meditate at night before you go to bed, you're gonna wake up better. You're gonna have a better attitude. Dr. Amen just was talking about a study that showed that, and it's very simple. If you write 3 things down that you're grateful for every day, that improves your risk of heart disease just by doing that.
Yeah.
So living with gratitude, right? Yeah. Living with gratitude, thinking about, so because gratitude changes your attitude. Okay. Right. That's going to be my mantra today.
Yeah.
Gratitude changes your attitude. So I really think that there are things that we could do lifestyle wise, getting plenty of sleep, making sure you're exercising, doing whole food. All these things you could do before you come and see me. And if you need help, I can help you with those things as well. But these are things that you could do at home, right? You can choose to drink whole food juices like at Robix, where you're at, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's important. You're in a great industry where you can help people with detoxifying their body and choosing things that are going to be good for them to take.
I mean, yeah,
So,
your point on sugar is very, very true. And we've gotten away from added sugars in our smoothies where we have unsweetened apple juice,
right.
Banana, ice, spinach, kale, and that's the smoothie.
It's yummy.
So all of the sugar is just from fruit.
I'm still upset that you didn't bring me one today.
I know, I should have. I'm sorry. Next time.
But I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with me today. And I just want to remind people, gratitude changes attitude, okay?
Absolutely.
This is Dr. Melinda with Aging Gracefully and Strong at Attorney King Studios on IQ Podcasts. See you till next time.
Thank you.